Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. So we're back on the Kingquad, and I was looking on eBay because obviously the old speedometer odometer is kind of trashed here, and I managed to find this one. This one came out of Pennsylvania. The quad that it came off of had 3,200 miles on it. And obviously I'm going to swap them. I'm just hoping that the cable's okay and the links in the transmission are okay, so that this will actually function. If not, from a cosmetic point of view, obviously it is going to look a lot better. It came with the key and everything you see right here. Obviously I reset it to 0, so all of that stuff is working. I would have liked to set the mileage back. This one is 3,200. This thing only has 1,300. But the odometer is sealed, and I really don't want to crack this thing open to get in there for fear of breaking it, right? Hopefully it functions now, and the last thing I want to do is go in there and bust it. The good thing about waiting until you get one before you take everything apart, you could see what bolts you have to remove, like the two on top. I was looking at them going, do I really need to take those out, and what else do I need to take out? And it turns out very quickly, as you compare what's been removed on there to what's been removed here, or what's still on here, you could see what needs to come out. I could set the camera up on a tripod and show you guys me taking these screws out, but I'm not thinking it's going to be all that exciting, so I'm not going to do that. So once again, Phillips head, I think there's like 6 of them if my estimation is right. Let's get those off, and let's hope for the best that the cable and everything else is good. For me, he also included the right-hand drive, which was cool. On a bunch of these that were for sale, they took that right-hand drive off. I mentioned all these things, not to make videos longer and more boring. I mentioned them so that as you're looking at the pictures, should you have a speedometer change to do, that you know what you're getting. Like if you buy one of these perhaps without a speedometer at all, and you say, okay, I bought a speedometer, but wait a minute, the cable doesn't go in. Well, it might be because you're missing your right-hand drive. So there you go. Now you know everything you should have. So when it comes to taking the Phillips heads out, right, it turns out that if you have one of these, it makes life much easier. This back panel has to come off, and it has two Phillips heads in it. There you go. Now I gotta kind of look around and see. Yeah, there's the speedometer cable right there. So I have to carefully get that off because we don't want to break it. And it looks like there's 2 connectors. And this looks like all there is to it. Got plenty of bugs living in here. So I carefully took the speedo cable off. 17 really wasn't tight, just a little more than finger tight to get it starting to spin. At that point I was able to move the speedometer up and away, and now you could start seeing things. Little things like this wire here are already loosened, and what's weird is it is a black and yellow going into a black, and it's got a bullet style connector on it. And in our case here, we got a slide on the yellow and black. So I just want to make note of that. The other thing, we have a blue and white going into a blue and white. We have a connector floating here that doesn't seem to go into anything. One of the scary things is, I don't know if you guys can see it right here, the wires are braided. Black with a white stripe on Hondas, that's the off button. So can't you just picture yourself driving around and every time that thing touches the frame, it shuts your spark off, right? Boy, that'd be something worth getting cranky about. Other than that, it looks like I just have two connectors. This one and this one, and they look to be exactly the same. Same color wires and everything else. This might seem like a whole bunch of nitpicking trivia, but after you tear it all apart, like look how fast I could go, and suddenly you're looking at this wire here going, I don't have the right connector to plug into it. I wonder what really plugs in there. Then you're looking at this guy that has nothing plugged into it, and that guy that has nothing plugged into it, and you're going to yourself, did I miss something? Did something fall out? You know, that kind of stuff. Take your time, take the extra 5 minutes, it's not going to kill you, and do it right. Here's a quick test you can perform of the speedometer. I have a small Phillips head put in where the speedo cable goes in, and you see if I turn it counterclockwise, you'll see that I'm able to get a reading off of it. Unfortunately for this one, it's seized. Right? It is not turning. Well, if this is not turning because it's seized, chances are it stopped the cable from turning, and chances are something downline is now broken. I spent 75 bucks, call it 80 bucks with tax, to get this speedometer to my house, and cosmetically it will look better, but unless I'm willing to completely troubleshoot the cable and the gears and the transmission, it's probably not going to work. In the olden days, you used to be able to slide the cable, the guts, out of the speedometer. You used to be able to slide it right out and slide a new one in. A lot of times when these like to break, they normally don't break in the center. They normally break where they've been squared off like that. So I don't see it broken here. By the way, trying to turn it, it is resisting me. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be lucky and through some freak of nature it will work, but I'm not thinking so. Hey tubers, the new Speedo is installed except for the Speedo cable, and I just want to take a moment here to try it out. A lot of times when you're messing with wires you end up with a surprise. So first thing is you turn it on, you got the neutral light, you pop it into reverse, you got the reverse light, so that's all very good. And next thing, choke is on, I have gas. Let's see if she'll start. So there she goes, she starts and she runs. I just need to hook up the Speedo cable and we'll see if it actually works. Then we'll get a ride out of it. Well, let's give this thing a start and see what it wants to do. I'm just going to leave the choke halfway on. Hopefully I don't have to get off this thing and start it that way. Gotta love it when they idle. Well, here's the moment of truth. I got all zeros set in here. Let's see if we get anything. Other than that, Harvey's a lousy driver. look so good. I didn't think so. When the other one was seized, oh, I don't have brakes in this thing. I better. Yeah, looks like I got nothing. So, from a cosmetic point of view, we're in third. From a cosmetic point of view, the new Speedo really improved the looks of it. But from a you know, how far is my loop point of view, it's done nothing for me. If I had two hands, I could romp this thing. Good, the automatic clutch works properly. Well, I can't say I'm not a little bit disappointed. For me as well as you guys. I mean, it would be nice to run the loop and see exactly how far, how long it was, you know, do stuff like that. But doesn't seem that it is to be. If I do decide to troubleshoot this more, at least I know that the speedo actually works. Right, we checked it out with the screwdriver. And I know that the problem is the cable or the gears. Unfortunately, my experience is typically it's a gear, and it's the same gear that goes on everybody's Speedo, and you can't get it anymore. That's my experience. Maybe you guys, one of you will contact me and say, oh no, I troubleshot a speedometer for a Kingquad, and that's not at all the case. You could get every single part, and it's only 50 cents. And as a matter of fact, I bought a dozen last time, and here's 3, right? But my experience is normally with speedometer parts, you're kind of out of luck. Anyway, but from a cosmetic point of view, it is much more attractive. Now I have 2 ignition switches. Right, I not only have this one that came with the key, I have the old one where the key switch is all still good, so I'm happy about that. Anyway, folks, I want you all to keep your feet down, your heads up, and I want you all to get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.